Films are a leading force in constructing cultural ideology. Laura Mulvey is a feminist theorist who focuses on the relationship between the psychological process and film. She provides an understanding that film allows viewers to experience what is normally outside of their own lives. In other words, voyeurism. Along with voyeurism, Mulvey uses the term scopophilia, which is the pleasure obtained through looking. Film and video are major platforms for scopophilia. Films also serve as examples for society's desires. For instance, a viewer may desire the lifestyle depicted on screen, leading the viewer to identify with a certain character. This is called narcissistic scopophilia. Her theories also point out the difference between active and passive characters. Male characters usually are active to keep the plot moving. Traditional female characters are usually passive. Female roles tend to be passive to fulfill the purpose of an object instead of an active human being. This encourages the male gaze, circling back to scopophilia.
Cinderella, the story of a young woman who wants to be rescued from the unfair life she leads. The Disney version of Cinderella was drastically changed from the Grimm brothers' original story. Disney's Cinderella is one of the most impactful films when it comes to cultural ideology. Young girls are encouraged to watch it at a very early age. The question is, do little girls naturally like princesses, or are little girls being told to be like princesses? Even before speaking, infants are put in Cinderella onesies, and toddlers are given princess-themed rooms, princess birthday parties, and princess dress-up clothes and accessories. When little girls grow up pretending to be like princesses, they dream of having a wedding just like a princess, especially a Disney princess. The Disney theme parks offer Cinderella-inspired dream weddings for your inner princess that are about $35,000, including the pumpkin carriage and white horses for an extra $10,000. Narcissistic scopophilia defines the young women who desire to be Cinderella and be saved by their dream prince. Cinderella is a passive character and is only chosen by the prince because she is a beautiful blonde with small feet, and she only looked that way by means of magic, and she was pretending to be someone who she isn't. Her life would be ruined if the rich prince did not choose her as his bride. I guess that means the only way to be happy is to marry a rich guy, right? Although the male gaze does not apply to the audience, it applies to one of the main characters, Prince Charming. He represents scopophilia with the fact that he only falls for Cinderella's beauty and air of mystery. The only skills Cinderella has involves domestic chores, so most likely she will have nothing to do but sit and be pretty during her entire marriage. When seeing the story of Cinderella this way, who would dream to be like her now?
As an example for voyeurism, Disney's Cinderella can also be classified as spectacle. Spectacle is a term used to describe when society is more focused on entertainment. The term was heavily utilized by the Situationist International to bring awareness to a false reality. Sometimes spectacle is noticed, and the social construction is then challenged. However, recuperation can occur when the opposition is watered down and given an alternative meaning, often as commodity.
Brave, an animated film created by Pixar Studios, challenged the Cinderella story and brought to life a strong, independent young girl who didn't need a man to save her. She instead fought for herself.
I am Merida, firstborn descendant of Clan Dunbroch, and I'll be shooting for my own hand. What are you doing? Merida! Curse this dress! Merida, stop this! Don't you dare loose another arrow! Merida! I forbid it!
Merida is always seen with unkempt hair and a bow and arrow, which sets her apart from the traditional Disney princesses. As seen in the clip, Merida feels restricted wearing the typical princess gown. Instead of the movie being focused on marriage as true happiness, it focuses on the importance of being true to yourself and having a strong bond with your family. Unlike the female characters in Cinderella, the most active and vocal characters in Brave are Princess Merida and her mother. Brave fights the normal Disney princess idea of finding your Prince Charming. In this Pixar film, Merida is a teenage tomboy, and Disney then turned her into a slimmer, older, and somewhat sexualized young princess. They had to be able to market her to young girls who loved the sparkly princess look. As stated before in the film, Merida is a very active character, yet in the redesigned Disney image she is displayed as passive and without her bow and arrows. About 2 years ago, Disney's reaction to Pixar's challenge was through the recuperation of Merida's redesign for commodification purposes. This led to a massive controversy, and Pixar published a statement criticizing Disney's design. Luckily, because of so much controversy, Disney decided not to use their design, and recuperation did not win. This gives hope to society moving away from the era of Cinderella.